Yo. Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast, where we talk about situations and things that are rarely even talked about for whatever reason. Okay. Oh, let me just get these stuff together. Right. Y'all know what to do. If you're here tuning into the Gray Area Podcast, share the feed. And y'all know how we do it here. Y'all welcome. Happy Friday. This a nice topic, This is a nice topic. I know a lot of people have their views and opinions on this one. So we're gonna chop this one up. To pieces. All this is the Gray Area people, where we talk about situations and things that are rarely talked about for whatever reason. Now, our topic for tonight is keeping relationships together for the child or children. This is something a lot of people say, oh, I'm not doing that, but a lot of people are doing it. So we can't say that we ain't doing it, because there are a lot of people that are doing it. But would you do it? I don't know. Some people who have asked before y'all know I like to talk. I like to talk to people before. I like to talk to people before I start, talking about these things to get basically a view and the views and opinions of people, personal responses. Man, you already start WhatsApping, man. Hold on. Let me just finish the invites. Let me just finish. All right. Y'all know how we doing the Gray Area Podcast. So, okay. Oh man, y'all already start. Hold on, man. Hold on. So y'all know how we doing the Gray Area Podcast. This is a podcast that basically I created, I think it was either 2 years ago. And I was like, a lot of people are afraid to talk about certain subjects. Like people scared of different views and opinions, and people are like, okay, you shouldn't talk about that. You shouldn't get into this. And so I was like, what better way that I could basically do this than to create a podcast. So I decided to start the Gray Area Podcast. So that's just a little backdrop history of the podcast. So keeping relationships together for the child or children, would you do it? That's a question a lot of people are afraid to answer, because they don't want to feel like, okay, this person or that person is going to judge me. Oh, I'm going to look stupid. Okay, I'm going to read the first WhatsApp message. Hold on, let me proofread these, because y'all like to try to get me in trouble. Okay. Jason, to be quite honest, this is a great subject. I would like you to dive into it. I would like to start my comment off by saying hell to the flipping no. That's one no so far. That's one no. So let's get to the Facebook comments. What's popping, Miss Pinky? I would leave if we are not going to try and work things out. There is no need to be in a dead mentally, spiritually, and physical relationship. Now, let me play devil's advocate here. You could be saying that because maybe you have the mental capacity or the spiritual capacity or even the physical capacity to leave. But there are a lot of people that feel that their child's happiness is more important than their mental or spiritual or physical being. You know what I mean? There are some people that believe this with a heart. Because I asked somebody, I said, okay, would you stay in a relationship for the child. And they say, if it makes my child happy, yes. Then I said, what about your happiness? And they were like, well, my happiness comes second to none to my child. So maybe you have the strength and maybe you are capable of leaving, but there are some people that are even married that made up their mind that they're going to stay in this marriage until their child gets old enough to get to college. Just look at Bill Gates' situation. I'm just saying, I would choose my happiness above all. The children would always adapt. Wrong. That's actually wrong. And it's been proven that children that are in separated homes are actually more prone to violence, gang activity, and all depression. I mean, you could do your research. That children that witness their parents separate or quote unquote divorce, they are actually affected more, and some of them rarely adapt. So, okay, children deserve two happy parents together or not. You all hear that? Children deserve two happy parents together or not. So, D, let me play devil's advocate. Would you stay in a relationship, quote unquote, for your child or children? Okay, see, I'm trying to get the Facebook comments first. I did it before. I was miserable pretending to be happy for my children. Also, I was afraid to be alone. Wow, I tell you all this some real stuff, you know. She said she was afraid to be alone. Like, you don't know what you're going to get out there. Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah. This is a nice, juicy comment. Good night, Jason. Welcome to the great. Good night, Jason. Welcome back to the Gray Area Podcast. For me personally, I am living this right now. For me personally, hold on, let me put this subject back on the thing so we can see this. For me personally, I am living this right now. I am with my partner for 7 years. Our child is 5 years old, and I am only here because of the child. I don't want to be here, but I feel because of my child that I don't want to leave, and I don't want my child to be neglected, rejected, or feeling depressed because we are not together. And that's the only reason why I'm here. A lot of people go through this, and there's a lot of people go through this, and there are no one talking about it. There are no one talking about it. If you know the mental hurt, the physical hurt, and the spiritual hurt that some of us parents go through doing this, I mean, we are looking for a way of escape. So I thank God for this platform to say, I am in this predicament right now, 7 years and counting. I want to get out, but I just don't know how to. My gosh. She wants to get out, people. Man, these real people, real issues on the Gray Area Podcast. Look here. This is what I need y'all to do for me. If you're here tuning in on the Gray Area Podcast, whether you're on the YouTube page or the Facebook page, all y'all got to do is just hit that share button. Share that, invite a friend, tell a friend, and let's talk about it. That helps the channel to grow, and it helps us to get more awareness, and it helps us to bring more awareness to these subjects. Like Fran is saying right now that she's in this predicament 7 years and counting, and she says she wants a way out, but she don't know how to get out or where to start. My goodness, that's powerful. And she's actually living this, and she said there's no place to go to talk about these things. My goodness, thank you for tuning in to the Gray Area Podcast, friend. We're going to talk about this tonight. And it's so, I mean, it has to be rough on individuals, whereas they are staying in situations like this just for the child's sake. My gosh. Well, y'all the real ones. Y'all the real flipping ones. I mean, y'all just All y'all. Let me just go through a couple of these. Some of these explicit, so I want to get the good ones. Oh wow, I can't believe that, man. 7 years and counting. So imagine the people that are doing this for 20 plus years and so forth. Oh man, oh man. I mean, boy, that's so I don't know what to say. But that's rough. And y'all people are actually living this. Okay, here we go. Chase Jason, a lot of people can say that they won't do it, but you won't know until you're in the situation and you're faced with a difficult position. I too am in this situation, and I'm not saying that I want to get out. I do me regardless, but just to see my child in a better state of mind, I do it for that and that only. And when my child is old enough to fend for himself, I will be out of here. And that's just my 5 cents. So, Fran is basically saying that she's there. She is there basically because of the child until the child is old enough to fend for themselves. And then she will be out of there. Abby says, my child happiness is all that matters. I want you to elaborate more on that, Abby. Give me more specifics. What do you mean by your child happiness is all that matters? Okay, D says negative. At no point my child deserves to grow up in an environment seeing his parents arguing and unhappy. What if you guys have a mutual agreement? Y'all know I like to play devil's advocate. What if you guys have a mutual agreement, a mutual understanding that you guys are doing this just for the child, and there is no basically argument? I mean, I guess the unhappiness can stay, but like Fran said, she's still doing her. So what if the environment is not toxic per se? What if there are no evidence that there's turmoil, or what if there is no evidence that there is a problem? And what if there's no signs, or because you got some people, like I talk to some people, you got some people that actually do this. They are still with the person just for the child's sake. They sleep with the person even though there isn't that much of an attachment, but they just do that because they don't want to go out there and expose themselves to whatever. So if I'm being devil's advocate, what if there's a mutual agreement? What if there is an exchange going on and we saying, okay, we're going to do this for the child, and when the child reaches so and so age, then we can cut this. And D says, I grew up in a similar situation and often wondered why my mother wouldn't leave. Wow. So basically you're a product of that environment and you don't want to go through that. Boy, it's happening right here in the 242, guys. Relationships and these agreements just for the child's sake, as you guys can see. I mean, okay. Let me get to these. Let me get to these. Let's go. Okay. Jason, for me personally, as a fella, we got the fellas chiming in. For me personally, as a fella, if it makes my child happy, then it is what it is. If me staying with somebody just to benefits my child mental state, I'll hold it down until my child is old enough to understand that. I'll hold it down until my child is old enough to understand. I can't understand the rest of that. But homie is basically saying that he'll hold it down until his child is old enough to understand. So, boy, We got a few people saying that they'll do it, and we got a few people that saying that they won't do it. Okay, another one. Good evening. I'm listening to you and read about a lady being in that situation, and that you can't say you won't be in that situation. Listen here. I don't play with my health or my children. So if you think you are going to manipulate me to have me around for the children, you tell a lie. One thing I realize is children are that they always adapt the situation, if it be good or bad. Now, I want to make it clear. What if there is no manipulation going on? What if you guys both agree that, hey, we are going to basically stay together just because of the child, so we don't affect our child's upbringing? Now, you can say that, but the percentages of children that come from separated homes and children that comes from situations that come from divorced homes, it has been shown and proven that they are more affected than children that actually have both of their parents still together. Now, you saying where you said, okay, they can adapt to the situation good or bad. Now, I'm not saying that they can't. I'm saying that take manipulation out of the equation. And let's just say you both agreed to say, okay, we're going to do this just for the child's sake. There's no manipulation going there. There are two consenting adults that are saying, okay, we're going to do this for the child. And that's that. And we're going to do whatever it takes to make it work just for the child. Okay. Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, I understand that. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here. There are situations where there's no manipulation involved. There are two consenting adults saying, hey, we're going to stick together for the child, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to raise that child. We're going to stay together, play happy home until our child, okay. Share, but don't want to post on Facebook. This is anonymous. I grew up in an environment where mental and physical abuse was evident. My mother stayed because of us. I had about 3 years left on completing high school. Mother sick. I had stopped reading these messages twice so I could keep the time, so I don't stay too much on one message. So I just read them and go, bam. But I got to read this again. And I want y'all to pay very close attention to this person's message. And listen, high school, that's basically like 12 years. 12, that's, if you count primary school, junior high, high school, she had 3 years. Come on, man. These real situations. Share, but don't want to post on Facebook. I grew up in an environment where mental health and physical abuse was evident. My mother stayed because of us. My goodness, shout out to your mom holding it down, man. Boy, these mothers go through some things, eh? I had about 3 years left on completing high school. All my siblings were either out of school or a year left. Looking back, I wondered why she took so long, because I too left a relationship in which I encountered the same, but I packed my 11-month toddler and never looked back. Life was rough at the start, but time healed. I didn't want my child to grow up in that environment like I did. My goodness, these heartfelt messages. Woo! Shout out to mom holding it down just because for y'all. Like I tell y'all, these situations, man, y'all share that link, man. Invite a friend, tell a friend, and let's talk about it. These are real situations, real people that what real people go through. I felt that one just now. Friend, I felt that one. I mean, I guess I can sympathize with mom as to why she would do it. I mean, wow. Can you imagine you only have 3 years left of school? Come on, your mommy just been holding it down. Oh, man. Oh, man. Jeez. Another message. I did an epic failure. Straight to the point. One sec. These some serious thing. Woo. Let me get to the Facebook. Some people don't only stay for the kids. They sometimes stay because they don't want to be alone. Starting over is some people's fear. That's so true. Because one of the comments earlier said that they were afraid to be alone. I think it was Devana. Yeah, here it is. I did it before. I was miserable, pretending to be happy for my children. Also, I was afraid to be alone, which is so true. There are a lot of people that are afraid to actually be alone. They are so, I wouldn't say comfortable, because there are a lot of people uncomfortable in their situation, but they don't want, the fear of the unknown is what they call it. I mean, that's just crazy, man. There we go. Lord, y'all, these topics just making my heart just a little bit weak tonight. Okay, let me proofread this. Whoa, man. Now this one gonna rattle some feathers and shake some rooms and woo. All right, y'all. Facebook, just hold on, man. The WhatsApp is hot. Oh, let me show y'all, man. Listen, if you're on the Gray Area Podcast and you don't want your comment to show up on Facebook, you can WhatsApp this number right here and just hit me up, and I'll keep you anonymous. I won't, I won't post your stuff, So, all right, this one right here. Y'all, this one. Oh, man, I got to drink some water before I hit this comment. Okay. Here we go. This one about to blow you all away. Good night, Jay. Welcome back on the Gray Area Podcast. I've missed your past shows, but thank God I saw the notification for this one. Y'all hit that notification bell, man. Support the channel. Notification for this one. Jason, I was in a relationship with my child's father, and I stayed for my child's sake just to make him happy. But get this, the dude was a full undercover homosexual, and I stayed there biting the bullets, saving face just for my child. Saving face just for my child. When I found out the darkness that he was in, I asked him, but what about our child? And he said, we can just stay together for the child's sake. So we can stay together for the child's sake. We can be in the same home just for his sake, and he do him and I do me. That was the worst experience for my life. That was the worst experience of my life. I did it, and I have no regrets on doing it, but that was a task. Dude was out there taking pipe on me, and we had a whole child together. I have no comments, because a lot of people already class me as homophobic. So, friend, you are very strong. Listen, you strong. You're one of the most strongest people. I just don't know. That is totally understandable. But if you're not happy within a relationship, sometimes we tend to take our feelings out on our children. Once your mind is at peace, your home will be the same way. Trust me, I'm sure you found better and you are much happier. Well, I did it for 10.5 years. Oh, man. Y'all ain't saying these numbers, eh? She did it for 10.5. Jeez. 10.5 years. Life is too short. We always planning for time that's not guaranteed. Facts. Women are more emotional and often find it hard to just go along with the program. Mm, 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 mm. For those who are able to do it, hats off to them and their children. I gotta tip my imaginary hat. Man, that one right there, friend, say she found out dude was taking pipe. And homie was like, well, we could just stay in the same home just for the child. You do you and I do me. I mean, whew. Welcome, Bobby Biscuit. Only on the Gray Area Podcast where you get these real-time messages and real-time reactions. I couldn't do that one. She's strong because the truth always comes out. I mean, jeez. Nice. Whew. The WhatsApp. Look here, y'all. I WhatsApp people. I didn't know y'all had all this in y'all, man. They all, oh man. Jeez. Y'all, it's just, mm. Can y'all imagine just staying with, oh man, after finding out that they, oh Lord, oh man, there's some real life stuff. Real life stuff. I mean, jeez. Would you do it? Well, a lot of people said they did it. And a lot of people said, hell no. People just saying they ain't no conk. They're not going to stay in no relationship whereas they're not happy. The kid's going to get happy regardless and the kid's going to adapt. She had to have been in denial. It was saving face for her too because that's something very hard to accept. That's crazy though, especially if if you were intimate with the person and then you find that out. You know what I mean? That oh man. Whew. I mean, what's up carrying on bad tonight, man? All right, let's go. Let me stop neglecting. I don't know why parents can't see when their children are unhappy as well. What if, let me play devil's advocate. Y'all know that's just my thing. I love, what if the child isn't unhappy? What if the child are happy seeing you guys together, not knowing what's going on, and they think that everything is going good because you guys play the mother and father role so well? What if they're not unhappy? What if they're realistically genuinely happy that both parents are together, or at least they assume that they are together because they only see mommy and daddy, and it's like it's no bad vibes in the front of the child. It's no, you know what I mean? I mean, what if I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I'm not saying that I don't understand that in cases children are unhappy because of the parents or whatever, and seeing their parents together not working, and they would rather their mother or either father to be alone than to be in a situation just for them and so forth. But what about the other side of the story where the children are actually genuinely happy and they don't see anything going on or whatever? You know what I mean? The children can see when their parents are unhappy and may think it's their fault. Facts. Can't deny that. That's a known fact. Now, devil's advocate again. What happens to those that don't see their parents unhappy? What happens to those that, because you have some really good pretenders, because I know some people, and I won't call their names because, it isn't anybody's business, that they are married and they are actually together. They're paying the mortgage, all happily share businesses together, sending their child to private school, and their child are blossoming. Their child are like A students, you know what I mean? There's no toxicity in the home. There is, you know what I mean? There is, well, there it's there, but there is no evidence to show the children, and their children thinking, hey, this is such a happy home. My parents love one another. They do anything for us. They are actually, come on, D man. Some people are good pretenders. Then those parents really pretending good. But when you don't see parents being affectionate, saying, I love you, something can't be right. Boy, listen here. Mm, 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 mm. Let me get to the WhatsApp, because the WhatsApp is where it's happening tonight. Woo! Mm, mm, mm. Y'all, welcome to the Gray Area Podcast, where we talk about situations and things that are rarely talked about for whatever reason. And if you're here tuning in on the Facebook page or the YouTube page, y'all know what to do. Just share, share, share. Tell a friend, invite a friend. All right. Oh, man. Jason, to each its own. I have done it for years, and I played the role quite well. It was just like nothing was wrong. We said, I love you the same. He kissed me goodbye. I made his food. I made his lunch. We slept in the same bed. We slept. I made his lunch. We slept in the same bed. We were intimate from time to time. But in reality, we were all doing it for the kids. And we made up in our mind that we're going to stay together until the children are old enough to fend for themselves. I did that for years. And my child never once knew or saw anything different. What they saw was a painted picture. What they saw was a painted picture, and that's what I did. Shout out to everybody. Shouts out to everybody that doesn't have to go through this, but this is a real life situation. I have been through it, and I am proud to say that my kids grew up to be beautiful citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and my kids grew up to be productive citizens of the Bahamas, and I have no regrets of my choices. It is what it is, and it was what it was. Boy, you got some people saying they did it, and their child turned out to be great. Their child just turned out to be great, and it's amazing how we don't talk about these things, and we just we just play like we just I don't know. I don't even know what to say, but there are a lot of people that say that they won't do it, and there are a lot of people that say, okay, they don't support it. But there are a lot of people, as you can see, these are real life people. There are a lot of people that actually hold it down just for their kids, and they stay in these, boy, y'all, some real strong people, boy. Y'all, some real strong people. I have a question. Maybe someone can answer it, right? And this is the question, right? Well, she says it was worth it in her situation because her children turned out to be productive citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. But this is my question to you, and you can just say yes or no. Do you think that it's worth it to keep relationships together for the child or children? Do you think that is worth it? Yes or no? Do you think that is worth it? Because some people from the majority of people that said they actually did this and they actually went through this, they're saying that, hey, it was worth it. And it was worth it to the point that they have no regrets. And then there are some people that said They tried it and it was an epic fail. I mean, it's just, I mean, but I know, D, I know where you stand. I don't even have, I don't even have to ask you. Okay, what's that? Was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it. That's one yes. To me, it was worth it because my kids were better off. I am on. Okay, okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's go. For me, it's a conflict. Yes, sometimes it was worth it, and no, sometimes it was worth it. It wasn't worth it. Yes, because my kids turned out to be happier than ever, and no, because it mentally affected me. Wow. I did it, and I feel like it has its pros and cons. Hell no, it wasn't worth it. I was, hell no, hell no, it wasn't worth it. I was miserable, sad. I was miserable, sad, and always angry. I had to make the decision for me whether or not my children were happy. They were not happy about the situation. At the end of the day, I chose me. Wow. Okay. Another message say, I had to make this decision and I promised myself that I wasn't staying for my kids. I have 4 girls. They were old enough to understand. So I spoke to my kids after I spoke to my kids at the end of the day. When the children get older, they move on. So she is saying she had to make the decision. And she promised herself that she wasn't staying for the kids. In other words, her happiness and her mental peace was more important. And they were old enough to understand. So my question to you is, would you say that you stayed in the previous situation? Would you say that you stayed in the previous situation until they were old enough to understand, or until you got the strength to make a decision for yourself? That's my question to you. Mm, 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 mm. All right. Boy, look here. Hell no, it's not worth it. For me, for me, for me personally, and to be honest, quite frankly, my kids were all that mattered. And my kids blossomed when me and my ex-husband were together. The minute they graduated high school, that was all she wrote. And my children understood at that point that I did the best that I can for them, and they grew up bettering themselves. I felt at that time, if I had left, my children would have gone through what many separated homes go through. And you're right, Jason. Statistically, separated homes does have a more harmful effect on the children. Just look at the statistic that was taken a few years ago in the Bahamas, that the majority of criminals came from single parent homes. Wow. Boy, listen, yeah. These some real situations dealing with real people. I mean, whew. You got people saying that they did it and they have no regrets. I mean, whoa, listen. When you could reach a point to where you say it's your child or you gotta be strong, because you actually saying to yourself, I'm gonna choose my happiness. You know what I mean? That's just how some people make their decision. They weigh the balance to say my child happiness or my happiness. And then some people just chose their happiness. I mean, listen, y'all just. One of my friends said, "Not me." I need you to elaborate. That's what I want. Let me get some more. Okay. Good night, baller. For me personally, I would never listen in all caps to never. For me personally, I would never do it. If my children have to cry and be depressed until they can learn strength, then let the tears roll, baby. There's no way I'm gonna stay in a toxic environment for my children. God gave me them, and God is gonna do what He has to do to protect them. Hell to the no. Listen, friend basically saying, hell no. God put them children in her life, and God gonna be the one to take care of them. She's not saying in any situation if them children gotta be crying and be miserable and depressed because they don't see their daddy home every night, then that's what it gotta be. She's resting everything in the hands of the Lord. He says, I feel like my child will be happier when he sees both of his parents are both genuinely happy. Oh, Lord. Let me read this. Oh, this is just a funny one. Jason, we ain't commenting on Facebook tonight because this right here hits home and can't have our faces out there. Great show. Keep it up. My 5 cents is I've done it, I've did it, and I'm glad I'm over with it. Y'all scared, man. Y'all don't have to be scared to post on Facebook. I know y'all significant other be watching these things sometimes, and then y'all feel like y'all don't want to. I don't want to cause no domestic violence. Fran says, basically staying in the situation. Fran says staying in the situation is not happiness. That's all it is. It's not happiness. All right, look here, look here, look here. Mm, 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 mm. Oh man, this is a good one. Oh man, come on, man. Look here. Jason, kudos to that kudos to that girl that stayed with her child's father after she found out that he was a homosexual. I'm sorry, but I could not do it. I'm sorry, but I could not do it. I salute every parent out there that held it down for the kids in these relationships just for the kids' sake. Y'all are on a whole nother level. As for me and mine, I'd rather walk Paradise Island Bridge every morning and count to 5 zillion before I stay in that type of situation. Francine, she ain't having it. She ain't about to stay in a toxic situation where she ain't happy. She say hats off to all of you that held it down, but it won't be her. It ain't gonna be her. Hmm. Oh wow, man. It won't be her. Listen, y'all, what's up? Y'all can on so bad, man. I have to say I agree with this D lady. I have to say that I agree with this D lady. There's no way I'm going to stay in that situation. I'd rather be happy on my own than to be worrying about my kids' happiness. It sounds harsh, but that's what it is. There's no way I'm going to be miserable and a good parent at the same time. I can't function while I'm miserable, so I'm going to take myself out of the miserable situation. And that's just me. D, I agree with you 1,000%. D, she said she agreed with you. She agrees with you 1,000%. She ain't staying in no situation where she's miserable because she believes that if she's miserable, she's not gonna be a good parent. Now, misery does cause side effects to these kids because you know some of you women, when y'all miserable, when that man have y'all feeling a certain way, y'all be abusing these children, taking all your wrath and anger out on these children. Now, that's another topic for another day. The Gray Area Podcast, guys, where we talk about situations and things that are rarely talked about for whatever reason. Now, look here. More WhatsApp. Oh, man. Let's go. Let's go. Jason, a lot of people that are saying hell no, they haven't been in this situation before. A lot of people that are saying hell no haven't been in this situation before. I was faced with a choice a few years back, and I made the choice to stay in the relationship just for my children. And it has its days where I can't think or I can't concentrate. At the end of the day, I knew what the end goal was. And to say that I regret is a far cry. I do not regret. There are some days I didn't feel there. I do not regret. There are some days I didn't feel like myself, but I basically sacrificed myself for the betterment of my kids. Not saying that I wouldn't have done I wouldn't have done a good job or be better to my children alone. I just felt at that particular point and time that it was the right choice for my kids. So out to everybody that never went through this. I've went through this, and there are many more that are still going through this, and it's gonna continue happening. It's gonna continue happening. There are some things that we can't avoid. Sometimes the decision is difficult to make, but it's one that needed to be made. I'm not suggesting that you go and make the decisions that we made for those of us that stayed in these relationships, but I am suggesting that you make the best possible choice for you. That's just my 5 cents. Fran had a lot to say. Fran basically saying she's not disagreeing with anybody who haven't been through the situation. She said kudos to y'all. So she's basically saying, look here, a lot of them are faced with the tough, difficult situations, and they just chose to make that tough, difficult choice. And at that particular point in time, it was the best choice and best alternative for for the situation. So I mean, boy, these some serious times, boy. Can you imagine just, I mean, it's rough. I know it's rough on the children. And then you have to just, there are some people that just make the choices to, stay. Mm, 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 mm. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh Lord. Now this one. Hi, this is my first time tuning into the Gray Area Podcast. I caught that WhatsApp number. Just in time. For everybody that's saying that they would never do it, some of them just don't understand. Some of them just don't understand how some people think. There are places where difficult decisions have to be made for the better outcome. And I am saying that to say, and I am saying that to say that Many times we are faced with situations and choices. For me, staying for my kids turned out to be the best choice that I've ever made in my life. I know for a fact that if I had left my situation, that my children wouldn't have survived in this vulture world. But now I have great citizens, like the earlier person said, of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and that's because both of us stayed together just for the betterment of our children. I understand those of you that disagree with it, but sometimes what's needed to be done has to be done. Boy. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. These some serious, boy, serious situation, you know. The Gary Area Podcast, people, where we talk about situations and things that are rarely even talked about for whatever reason. Let me just get one more of these WhatsApp comment. Fran said, no, explicit, crazy. Fran, so you ain't staying in that situation? Come on, man, you know, just for the children's sake. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, let me scroll through. Okay. Jason, please keep me anonymous. Listen here, I've done it, and I must say that was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. And then I just left. It was hard on my child because my child felt a certain way. He still shows signs of depression, but I took it upon myself to get him help from a professional. It does have a serious effect on the children. That's the side effect that many people doesn't talk about. But that's the side effect. That's the side effect that many people don't talk about. So I did what I had to do, and I'm still trying to get him help. And that's just my situation. Boy, listen here. See what I mean? At least she's saying she's honest and say that it actually did something to her child. And so she decided to get her child some help from a professional. Okay. What's happening, Tracy? This is my good friend from Trinity. My good friend, man. I remember in school, a guy I knew, he wanted to commit suicide because his parents stayed because of him, and they were unhappy together, and he believed it was his fault. This goes to piggyback on what Dee was saying earlier. So I guess they were not pretending so well. A sad man. You know what it is that you basically want to commit suicide because of your parents, because you believe that them being together is your fault. That's a lot of pressure on the children, Dred. This goes to piggyback on what Dee was saying earlier, because Dee was saying some children are really affected by it and they believe that it's their fault. That's if the environment is toxic. I mean, that's okay. So my friend elaborated on her previous message. She said, until I was strong enough to leave. Leaving is not easy at all because you tend to dwell on how will you make it alone. God will always make a way. Some people just have to find that extra strength. Mm-mm. Boy, look here. I wonder if we should we should we should do part 2 of this. I don't know. This topic little, you know, and a lot of my friends are saying that they wasn't gonna watch this one because it's a little too close to home, and they said that they're already in an emotional state and they don't want to trigger any more stress in their brains and stuff like that. So shouts out to all of my friends that are holding it down, and shouts out to all of the new people that tune in tonight to the Gray Area Podcast. And what you can do if you watch this live or you didn't get a chance to watch it live, what you can do is share, invite a friend, and like the page, man. Like our Facebook page, the Gray Area Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are fairly new channel and we're small and we're still growing, So, and this is just basically a platform where we talk about situations and things that are rarely talked about for whatever reason. And it's not just my show, it is actually your show, because you, the viewers and the commenters, get to state your opinion, so it isn't biased. And it isn't just basically me saying this is what it's supposed to be, this is what it is. No, we have a great dialogue and we go and we say, okay, hey, I disagree with what you're saying, Jason. And then I go like, okay, well, I'm the devil's advocate, and we have fun doing this. So for those of you who have been supporting from day one, thank you all for tuning in to the Gray Area Podcast. Wait, okay. Someone wants to comment. Wait, before you log off, I would like to say, Jay, keep up the great work. And please keep me anonymous. This is my thing. Sometimes you feel bewildered. Sometimes you feel bewildered doing it. But it's for a cause. Like me and my husband, we are together now just for the benefit of the kids. We don't show any animosity at home, and we don't show any negative vibes. We are all lovey-dovey and we play our roles quite well. Our children don't know what's happening or what's going on. We made the decision to stay together. We made the decision to stay together just for our kids, or until they're old enough to understand. And I can be quite honest. At times it is hard. It is hard, but sometimes you have to put a painted smile on your face. Boy. Well, that's the last message I'm going to read, guys. All right, y'all. Thank you all for tuning into the Gray Area Podcast, where we talk about situations and things that are rarely talked about. Continue to help the channel grow. Share, invite a friend, tell a friend, and let's talk about it. I'm out. Peace.